Lesson 8.6a. And you're going, 8.6a, what does that mean? All right, this is a little different this time. Lesson 8.6 is broken into two parts because that's the way the chapter numbering fell out. But lesson 8.6a, at least, is more of an exercise than it is a lesson where you're going to have examples and then do practice. So, oh, by the way, this is Miss Fleming. So the purpose of 8.6a, and it's called multiple representations, is for you to make connections. You're going to have a real-world situation. It can be modeled with quadratic functions, and we're going to have equations, tables, and graphs. So this is a connect all the concepts lesson. And to help you with that, I put a couple of things from vocabulary back in here. So obviously we're going to be dealing with vertices or the vertex for these situations. There's 4 of them. So the vertex is the highest or lowest point on the graph, and this is the official notation for vertex, negative h comma k. The x value of the equation is the axis of symmetry, and you write that as x is equal to whatever the x value is. And the minimum or maximum value of the parabola, and that is going to be a y value. That is also the y value of the vertex, and you write it as y is equal to whatever that number is. Okay, here's the piece that I put in here that may be helpful to you in this exercise today. Here's the vertex formula. If your equation is in standard form, then you pull out the a and b values, you plug them into this formula to get the x value. Whatever comes out of this side becomes the x value that's an input to your equation, and that will give you your y value, and that is all in lesson 8.1. Okay, here's another piece that's going to be really useful to you in this exercise. Do you remember that parabolas have twin points all up and down that parabola? Every point on one side has a twin point on the other side. The only one that doesn't is the vertex. The vertex is the only single point. Everything else, if you find the axis of symmetry and you go the same distance on each side of the axis of symmetry, you're going to find a twin that has the exact same y value but has a different x value. And that information is going to be really useful to you today. Make use of that. All right, so like I said, it's an exercise. We're going to set it up, explain what's going on. I'm going to give you some instructions. We're going to look a little bit about what you've got to accomplish, but it isn't a regular, here's the practice and here's the examples thing. All right, the situation right here. 4 students of South Haven High School are in a water balloon contest. Each contestant uses a catapult to launch their balloon from the ground. Prizes will be given for the longest distance and the highest launch. The contest takes place on the football field, and a computer is tracking the results using X to represent the horizontal distance in yards and Y to represent the vertical height in yards. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the pen on because I want to reinforce that. That is information that is pretty critical to your success. If it'll let me. There we go. All right, so this is the variable definitions, which a lot of you struggle with, so let's make sure you mean. Okay, the x value. That's clearly not what I want. Let's erase that. I thought I had the highlighter turned on. Okay, that says it's a highlighter. But it's not transparent. All right, we're going to get rid of that. We're just going to go back to a really thin line underlines. So we'll go to the pen. Sorry about that. Okay, but this is important, so it's worth the wait. Okay, do it yellow. All right, just underlining. Here are the variables. You're going to use these. You're going to have to label a graph. You have to know how to fill in the table what they mean. So x is not time. X is the horizontal. Horizontal, think of horizon. It is the horizontal distance, and the units for x are yards. Okay, the y value, which is the y-axis, is going to be vertical height, and it is also in yards. So if you think about what this is going to look like, if I did a table like this This is going to be distance, and this is going to be height, x and y. Please make note of that. It's going to be really useful. Let's get rid of that. All right, so here are your instructions. You've got 4 contestants. For each contestant, you will be given sufficient information to make a table. Complete the table using what you know about the vertex and the twin points. And here's something else that you really want to make note of. Okay, tip number 1 when you are making these tables. These water balloons, let's think about what it looks like. Okay, this water balloon is going to be launched off a catapult from the ground. It's going to go up. Gravity is going to catch it, and it's going to come back down. So the starting point is going to be an x-intercept, and the ending point is going to be an x-intercept. Those should be at the extreme ends of your table. So the top number in your table should be this x-intercept. The last number in your table should be this x-intercept. Make note of that. It'll help you out. It'll make it a lot easier. Okay, the next tip says the vertex should be in the middle of the table. And that makes sense. If that's my first number, if that's my last number, that vertex should be dead center. And then if you've got extra numbers, you will be filling out each side. And keep in mind that each point has a twin. So if I have a point here that I know the information on, but I don't know what this point is, I can use that to find the other side. Okay, so that should be enough of a clue. All right, meet the contestants. We have 4 contestants. I'm not going to go through this whole thing with you. You're going to come back and do it, but I want to make sure you understand what you know what you have to do. We have Maggie. Okay, you're going to read this information, and Maggie has an equation. We have Jenny. You're going to read this information. Jenny doesn't have an equation, but Jenny has a graph. So you'll read this graph, you'll fill out this table. Again, the first value is going to be an x-intercept, the middle value is going to be a vertex, and the last value is going to be an x-intercept. Okay, start, center, stop. All right, then it gets a little bit sketchier. We have contestant number 3, who's Mark. The computer didn't help because it got wet, so you have a table. Trust me, you have enough information. If you kept track of what's been going on, you can fill in the last 3 points. Because if you'll notice, you know where it was launched from, you don't know where it landed. And then we have Aldo, and we have the least amount of information about Aldo. We do know where he started from, we know where he landed, and you do know the highest height that he reached. So this table, you may not get all of it, and I've talked to the person who puts this in Schoology, and it's set up so you're okay if you don't get all of it, but you ought to at least find those 3 points. All right, then here's the graphs for each one, and you are going to decide, first of all, you're going to label the x and y axis, and you know what the variables are now. You're going to match the graph with the contestants. So you've got the table, you've got, these are labeled as A, B, C, and D, so put a letter in each one of those using your table or your equation or whatever you need to match it. And after that, you've got questions to ask, not least of which is who won for highest launch and who won for longest distance. So this is the shortest video we've had so far. Please remember, you are going to have an 8.6b video and an 8.6b practice. This is intended to take 1 class period or 1 day, and 8.6b is intended to take 1 day. So enjoy. Have a good afternoon. Bye.